1 2 1 2. All right, we got a couple hot ones, y'all. Yeah, Monday night speed chases. Good evening, Monisha, brother David. All right, I don't know. So we had a speed chase. Looks like this guy he was on a bike. We got another one popping off here. We'll see in a second, but we're getting a view of the city. So he might have gotten away. Looks like they're in the Elysian Park, Echo Park area, Dodger Stadium ish. There's City Hall there. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see, we could pull up this other chase. Two at the same time, y'all. Heads up. Yeah, this one was a guy on a bike.
So in downtown behind some of the tall buildings here. See if I can.
What's up, Garrow? I'm trying to find this second speed chase here. I know Smoke and Scan is on. He had the other one. Let's see what he's showing. Oh yeah, I think they're showing the same feed here. And we'll see if the second one shows up here in a second. But yeah, we were going to get into a whole other topic before this all popped off. And Garrow, good show with the doc tonight. Yeah, let me know if you find anything, Garrow. I know you're hot with these live streams as well. Let me know if you get any feedback on a second chase going on here in Los Angeles. He's watching Speed Racer, of course. And a couple of stringers are out of Bakersfield and Sacramento tonight. It was weird. This weekend, no stringers out of Los Angeles that I found. It was weird. AXN News was live. I think it was Saturday night or Friday, and his feed all of a sudden cut off. He was going over the 6th Street Bridge, and his feed cut off, and that was it. He didn't go back live after that. It was weird. It was soon after not too long after he went live. So hopefully he's doing okay. And we'll see if anything pops off for Los Angeles tonight as far as stringers. Yeah, you never know. Monday nights even. I've mentioned maybe Wednesdays they take off, but that's kind of a little bit of a joke. It's never days off. The chopper was floating around here earlier outside. Bienvenidos, Gustavo. Yeah, I don't see anything else popping up here. And there is no audio on this. It looks like they're still chasing someone. I see the light on there. Maybe, I don't think their news is in a restricted area. I wonder why they backed off. Maybe they were told to back off. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on this. And Juliana McGill, are you out there? Hopefully, she pops in. She was asking earlier. I left a message over on a couple of shorts she's posted. Yeah, Juliana McGill getting live with the shorts. Super beautiful shorts she posted. She was up on a ridge somewhere, maybe up in her secret Bigfoot locations. And she's a local, for those that don't know, of some of the areas we'll be getting into tonight. We'll be getting into some true crime here in a little bit. And as usual, we'll see how the stream flows. Hopefully, we flow the right way and everything goes smooth and not too bumpy. Greetings, Jane from Wisconsin. Right on. We've talked a little bit about Wisconsin not too long ago. Wisconsin pops up for me with the whole 411 phenomenon, the sobering coincidence, the missing people, usually young college male students. They go out drinking in these areas and then they're found in bodies of water mysteriously. Yep. That's a good thing, David. But at the same time, you know, uh, sometimes it's dangerous being out there. We'll get into that. These areas that we'll be talking about in a bit have this dark side to them that people have been focusing on throughout the years. And the particular areas I'm talking about is the Emerald Triangle, it's known as the Emerald Triangle of California. And there's Chiro Sounds. Much love, Chi and Garrel. What's up, Jeff? Jeff posted a beautiful video this weekend of him and his boys out at what was it, Huntington Beach, having a good time. It was a perfect day for that. And today was another pretty warm one. So we were getting out of this funky stuff that was in the skies for a few days. And things are starting to heat up again and starting to have a little more visibility out there. Today was pretty windy as well here. Actually had a day off. Can you believe that? Whoa. Yes, we had a day off today. All right. That feed's done there. And I hear the chopper out here. So I wonder, watch, take a listen. Hopefully, let's see if the mic could pick it up. Probably not, but yeah, chopper, ghetto birds buzzing outside here. And it's probably that same chopper we're just looking at there, right? Still chasing that guy on the bike. Yeah, no worries, Jeff. You have a good night at work, bro. Don't get into no trouble, man. then we're all responsible, including everyone in chat. Everybody in chat and listening to this live stream to the office. Thanks, Jeff. Damn. Let's have a listen. It's buzzing. Pretty close. We'll keep an eye on things. And Juliana, we got a page, Juliana. Juliana to the live stream. She's probably in the barn right now. Y- yes, David, you are included, sir. No one's exempt. I've been using that lately because yeah, no one's exempt to being a victim of circumstance. Life throws curveballs, the ebb and flow of life, the pits and peaks. And yeah, sometimes it's gnarly, some of these pits, sometimes you don't ever get out of. And that's why we got to enjoy life while we have it. All these things going on, you could take a pick, all the things have. I mean, this weekend we had a 25-year-old out of, I think they said it was 29 Palms, went to a fertility facility in Palm Springs and blew the place up. It's like, whoa. And if that's for real, that's a young guy, and who knows what's going through his mind. Makes me wonder, like, what's going on there? How and why? And it's, prayers for that community there. Yeah, California. Whew, always something happening up here. And even up north, I like to keep in touch with what's going on up there as well. I was talking the other night also how a lot of times you don't hear the news unless it's something huge like this, for instance. I'm sure that made national news. You don't hear a lot of Northern California news in Southern California or even Central California news in Southern California and vice versa. And no, of course not. Oof. And where are you? Come on, activate. Boom. To that comment there, Chi. Hey, all right. Someone's making hall passes. All right. Who's making the hall? It's probably Jeff making hall passes. All right. Who else got hall passes? We'll keep it low key. Yeah. So the news, a lot of news going on just here in the state, and try to stay on top of it. Local stuff here back in SoCal. So there's always things popping off, of course, like these chases and you name it. It's nonstop. And yeah, so we're gonna head up north and check out some recent crime and all that. But then there is some Bigfoot stuff. This is, mainly a Bigfoot channel, but comes with all types of other things, especially in my world. And we could get into, oof, you name it. But yeah, Bigfoot always on the mind. And yeah, no, it's always on a lot of your minds as well. David's always thinking Bigfoot. We could only read David's mind. Juliana's still dodging us. I don't see her in here yet. Whoa, here we go. All right, David with a comment here. His sister and him found a man that was just plowed in the head in a small county park. And oh, Grantavius Maximus Maximo Grantavio. What's up, bro? Yeah, that's heavy, bro. Heavy, 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 David. And yeah, I could talk about a few things like that I've heard people share, and some things that we've seen as well that, oof, were heavy on that level. And of course, as we get into things, much respect to anyone out there who's been a victim of crime or anything like this, prayers go out. And again, we're no one's ever exempt from anything. So anything could happen to anyone at any time, and that's why we got to stay prayed up, shielded up. You know, tap into your creator, your source, or whatever you believe in, and arm yourself, especially these days with so much craziness going on. Got to be very careful out there, and even on here on these YouTube streets, it'd be cray cray. And what up, Roger? Always good to see Roger. Roger and I have been hanging out all day, actually, and that's because Roger and I like to hang out. And glad to have you here again, Roger. Where were we, Roger? We're all over the place today, surfing those YouTube waves. Roger's a great supporter, and I did get your message. Was that on X? Are you on X now, or was that an Instagram message? I'm slow on the gram, but I've been a little active there. Posted something last night. It was a throwback. Actually made a TikTok out of it and got good feedback on over on TikTok. And then posted it here as a short on YouTube. And then put it unlisted because we had shown that before. But yeah, just trying to, get back over onto those platforms and post. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't posted over there. Most of the stuff I post is over on YouTube. And when I get the chance, I'll post over there. I was a lot more active before, but yeah, it's could take time and some effort to post things, especially on several different platforms. And yes, Roger, that it's over on X. Super cool, man. And I will be responding to you. And Roger, feel free to share your X link, so your friends here can follow you there. And no problem with that. And Grantavious, that was super cool the other night. I was wondering maybe if the audio issue, because it seemed like I didn't have an audio issue, but you were echoing, which is pretty cool. At least it wasn't both of us. But I'm wondering if maybe you had a YouTube on. You know how like people call in the radio station and they have the radio on at the same time. I wonder if it was something like that going on, because I don't know over on my end what I would have to adjust or configure or to be able to make that echo stop. And again, thank you for hopping on that night. That was super cool, super fun. And even after that live stream with Grant Tavius that night, him and I chopped it up for like maybe a couple more hours after that. We were talking about all types of things, looking at maps. He was showing me his property, which was mind blowing. It was amazing, and I'm surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if yeah, Bigfoot walks in right into his door. They're probably in his backyard right now. And he says he's got a new mic. Candy Wolf, greetings to you. Welcome. And maybe someone didn't give Candy Wolf the memo, but you're gonna have to head into the office after this. Yep. Victim of circumstance. Yeah, much appreciated. See, the door is always open. And I hope he's talking to me. And I've talked about I have many houses in different places. I'm not the guy on the couch, but I could couch surf. Uh and yeah, I have a friend that I've talked about this before. He's Italian. Worked with him up north for many years. And actually he lives in the jungles of Mexico. But he would come out here, we'd work together, and he gave me a key to his house in Italy and said, "Yeah, that's your place. Anytime, he gave it to me with this little owl keychain, which is super cool. And so yeah, I got a place out there. And there's many other places throughout, especially California and up, spots in like now Grand Tavius in Oregon. Got my place there and got Grant's place. Tanya Gruber, good evening. How you doing? Good night. I don't know exactly where you are, Tanya, but hopefully it's not too late. But yeah, we're gonna be hanging out here for a while. Remix that. Record skip there. Beep. Whoops. And we're pushing buttons. No license plate. What's going on? Speaking of license plates, yes, got my registration sticker. So feeling a lot more comfortable about driving around. Oof. And that was uh yeah, a kick, or what would you like? Right in the you know what. That's all right. Yeah, I'm rocking the shades. I was thinking of maybe putting them on. Maybe when I get into some reading, because I notice sometimes I'll be concentrating on reading or maybe looking at something, and I'll have this like weird, crazy, the 1,000-yard stare, and I'm like reading. Looks kind of funny, scary at the same time. Ah, there's Juliana. I took. She got my messages. She got the page. Yeah, I got the comment, and we paged you a few minutes ago out of the barn. See, I told you she was up in the barn. Have a ton to do at the barn still, so let's get it rolling. Uh-oh. There's the rush there. There's always someone that'll put a little pressure on me. It'll be like, hurry up. Let's get to the show. There is no show. We're just gonna let this roll. Yeah, let's get up on this let's see. Boom. Let's get up on this site here. So there are a couple fresh reports, and we're talking Bigfoot here at the moment. Oh yeah. It's not exactly the map we wanted to look at, but we will pull the correct one up here. 1 second. And Juliana, feel free to share your those shorts. I was talking about the shorts you just posted. Where are you? There you are. All right. Bigfoot mapping project. Map there, and hopefully it's not a Bigfoot twerking in Florida report. Yeah, there's been some wild ones lately. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out some of the previous streams. And I'll say that now. Also, getting into some of the things we'll get into tonight. So, a heads up there. And so, new orange dot here. It looks like, so we're on some land there. It looks like on Canadian land. That's the little dot we're going to go in on. We've been checking out these other reports that are dotted around there. And there have been some recent California ones, so peep it, check it out. So you have Toronto to one side there. Let's go ahead and click on that. And it's a recent one. It's 5/17. of this year, 8:24 a.m. There's no height, no sex in the champagne room. It's all right. Let's see here. I was sitting in my home eating breakfast with my friend when I noticed a tall creature move past a tree and down into the forest. It was large, but it wasn't visible long enough to gauge approximate height. Excuse me. Or to identify its sex. All right. There were some wood knocks, and the color was brown. Let's zoom in a little further there. Short and sweet report. See the town of Brantford. There's Woodstock to the left. See a Hamilton to the right. Cambridge north of there. Anyone familiar with this area out there? Don't see many other Bigfoots. Usually, if there's reports in the area, you'll see other little squatch figures like this one there pop up. Oh, there we go. Let's see. What's that? Yeah, I don't think those are reports. But anyway, report there. And also a new report out of BFRO. We'll look at that. Also, let's see. Nope, can't do it like that. David with a question there. Has anyone in chat seen Sasquatch personally? Yeah, Juliana. And I'm sure there'll be several others in the chat there that might say yay. All right, here's BFRO website. And recently added reports. See, reports posted since May 1st, 2025. And we've read these past three here. Had one out of Washington, Lewis County, Idaho, a couple out of Idaho, Valley County there, and Ada County. Talked about Ada or Ada in Spanish, Ada in Spanish, and we have a family member with that name. Is Fairy? Yeah, the Fae. Something to put in your notes there. Fairy County. Yeah, I wonder how I got that one. All right, so this new report I haven't read, so we'll be reading this together off the top of the list here. And it's one out of this year, or yeah, one out of this year, I believe, 2025. And these other ones, 2014, 2024, 2023, and 2025 are the years of the encounters, but were submitted this year. So Michigan, yeah. There I go in Michigan. Monroe County. And been hearing a whole lot out of Michigan. Of course, the Dogman stuff also. And lots more of Dogman reports coming out of even the Pac West. Yeah, Pacific Northwest. And makes me wonder what's going on. Is it really happening? Yeah, anyone seen any strange stuff like that in the Pac West or just in the West Coast? There are reports here in Central California and going down south onto the border. But I'm a big, proponent of cryptids without borders. So if they're being seen at the border, yeah, they're gonna be seen on the other side, whatever that border may be, Mexico, Canada. Why not? They don't need passports or real IDs. Let's check this report out. It's report 78631, Class A. Oof. Submitted by eyewitness Edward Henry on Sunday, May 18th, 2025. Today, father and son fishermen have close encounter with Bigfoot halfway between Toledo and Detroit. And season, spring, month May, the date 18. We read the state and county there. Location details I-75 to, let's see if I can pronounce this, Laplassance Road exit behind the jail near the quarry in the back. Mm. Two witnesses entered and exited this area from where Winchester Street terminates at the railroad bed, west side of Railroad, north of Plum Creek. These GPS coordinates are not precise, and it's cool that they do put GPS coordinates. You can see here. And then they observe I was bow fishing today with my son around 11:30 a.m. We walked down the creek, Plum Creek, past four bridges, railroad bridges, and headed into the marsh. 100 yards into the marsh, the dog scared up something that was bedded there. Trees were shaking. We thought it was a group of deer. We continued on 200 or more yards to the creek basin in the marsh. We sat and enjoyed the wildlife for a little while. We headed back through the cattails and saw a lot of deer beds on the way to the first bridge. We crossed the first bridge and was between that and second bridge. We heard sirens in the distance. My son said, "Do you hear those?" I sat down my bow and arrow to get out my cell phone and earbuds. I wanted to listen to the police scanner app on my phone to see what was happening. My son was behind me and dog was off to the right. All of a sudden, I heard rustling in a tree to the left and a huge thud hitting the ground from the tree. A big heavy animal hit the ground and crouched and started moving towards me through the brush. My dog fired off from the right of me toward the creature. The dog almost got to it, but the creature shot off extremely fast through the trees and brush. The dog chased the creature up the slope and over the train tracks. Then I called for my dog to come back. My son said, "Holy, where you at?" What was that? It was a big, it was as big as a bear, but looked like a gorilla. Oof. We walked back, but we heard something crunching on the ground behind us. We left. Hmm. Other witnesses, too, in 1963 on forward numerous newspaper articles we found. Time and conditions 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. Sorry. Swamp Forest Railroad tracks. And looks like a pretty good, quite a bit of a follow up there. You can check out if you're interested. Anyone maybe in this area, who knows, might have also some experiences, might want to read up on that. So interesting report there from the BFRO. Let me jump back into the chat really quick. And greetings to Tracy and anyone else stepping in tonight. We are streaming on all their platforms. We've mentioned those before. So lick a shot to everyone out there if you're listening. Much love. And let's see here. What else we got tonight? Yeah, Patty. Always nice to see her. And as I put this up, there was a video. Many of you, if you're into the Bigfoot topic, may know of rest in peace Scott Carpenter. And you know, when you mention certain investigators or Bigfooters, and you know, people scoff at certain names, or people brighten up when they hear certain names. And I always respected Scott, and yeah, it was unfortunate that he passed. And there was, it's his son that is, I believe, taking over his channel now. So his channel is still active on YouTube. And they recently dropped it, I think it was yesterday, they dropped a video touching on the whole Patterson topic. And it was just information on what may have happened. You know, it gets really controversial. People talk about you know, stuff that wasn't on this. They talk about this second film that is not out to the public. And then there's been talks about what may have happened to Patty, and if there were other Sasquatches in the area, what may have happened to them. And it's pretty dark, and mm, makes you wonder. And yeah, so interesting vid. If let's see, I think I had that pulled up also. And it was a conversation between Scott Carpenter and I believe it was the late great Bobby Short as well. So two people in the Bigfoot field that have passed, two great ones there. You know, I know a lot of people that would put Scott Carpenter up there as one of the great ones, and others will think otherwise. But yeah, he's captured a lot of interesting stuff, I think. And it's cool that his son is keeping his stuff going. Also, like, reminds me of who else is the son of what is it? The other, it's like the second best the Bigfoot video out there. Many will say Paul Freeman. Yeah, Paul Freeman's son is also keeping his dad's legacy going, and it's super cool that they do that. Step up to the plate. So let's see if we could pull up this Scott Carpenter video. And maybe someone could share a link in the chat. There you are. So there it is, Scott Carpenter Sasquatch Awareness Project. And you know, him and Politis were friends, and people that are into this know, you know, there's a lot of talk. There's the whole genome project that was going on with Melba Ketchum, and Scott was like involved with that. And yeah, he was doing a lot of interesting things out there. And you know, that whole thing, I don't know, did it fall through? Is there stuff coming up? You know, I heard there was going to be new stuff coming up, even with different creatures besides Bigfoot, this DNA project. But yeah, who knows what's going on with all that? But this is Scott's channel here, and let's see if we could scroll to there it is. And there's the video there. You could see dropped. Well, this is I had this queued up earlier. It's probably a little more than 24 hours now. So it was yesterday, and it's The Dark Truth. And you can see Patty there and the dark truth behind Patty. Scott Carpenter's conversation with Bobby Short. Anyone check that out yet? And yes, I see Tracy mention MK Davis. Yeah, he does mention, Scott does mention his name. And, he does come up when that topic is brought up. Salute to you, Diesel. And Diesel, great work on doing the follow up to your spots there. Very interesting area. And Diesel in New Jersey doing quite a bit of follow up on one of his Sasquatch spots. And please check out his channel. Yeah, it's important to do follow ups, especially when you have an area that's really active like that. And Diesel's checking out this area where these pretty big, beautiful teepees seem to be switching up every so often. And yeah, definitely a great area there. You ever think of doing an overnight there, Diesel? Maybe setting up and maybe pitch a tent there, see what happens. Maybe you've done it. I don't know, but yeah, a nighttime, peek around there, or maybe spend the night there would be super interesting. And yeah, that's it. That's way to go, bro. Definitely a good thing to do when you can follow up to your spots. And it's hard to do, especially when if your spot's way out there, and hard to get to. It's effort. It's an effort to do that. So we thank you. And it takes time, gas, all that. And then, time to upload those videos. And he's pumping them out like fresh. I think he pumped them out that same day. And look, yeah, he's finding interesting little things around there. Love it, bro. Love it, love it, love it. Where's Wild Man? Maybe we could summon him here tonight. And so yeah, this, Patty being, uh caught on film up here in Northern California. And I like to remind people because there's a lot of people. It's a trip. There's this. I see the generation gap now. There's a lot of things that we bring up or talk about, and I'll talk to people about, and some people won't know. And it's like, oh yeah, how old are you? And it's like, oh, that's a trip. Yeah, you don't know about that, or you gotta kind of keep the information going. And I'm sure a lot of the younger crowd have seen this video but had no idea where the backstory to it, where it happened, how it happened, and there is more to just that bit of film we're all used to seeing, right? And again, it makes me wonder what really happened there, what was going on, how'd that all go down. And I do believe it's real. There's still the question of whether it's real or not. And let's see. Did I see the Bigfoot Trail Alliance cleaned out parts of Bluff Creek already this year? No, I didn't hear about that. And that's super cool. And I wonder if any of the Bluff Creek Project guys were there for that because they do a lot of that. They do a lot of maintenance there. And really quick, I seen earlier. Did you see that Kim Kemp posted? There, it looks like there's some fires going on in Shasta, possibly close to Mount Shasta. Let me see if we could pull that up. Yeah. So prayer to those folks out there, and prayer to all the folks in the states recently hit with the storms. It's a trip. I was mentioning about our sky. I'm always mentioning about our skies out here, but lately it was murky and gloomy and blah. I was describing it and just made me feel a certain way. And I was seeing that it was like throughout the state, and I was looking at videos in other states. Seemed like the whole dang country was like in this weird funk. But who knows? Uh and yeah, bummer. I was seeing also that certain sirens weren't going off in certain areas, and just a pretty bad devastation. So prayer to all those folks out there as well. And wherever prayers are needed, send those good vibes out as we get into some of these dark, gnarly topics here. Let's see. There we go. So, redheaded black belt website. Whoops, of course. Come on, pull that back up. Hit the stop share there. All right, let's do this. Where are you? There's a few articles here now still. There it is. All right. Update 10:45 p.m. Evacuations warnings. Fire ignites near Mount Shasta, burning in timber and brush. So heads up there. Anyone in the Mount Shasta area? And Juliana says there's been a few spot fires already. Stop. Oh yeah. Stop the sky farts. And I seen a brother William Nighthawk over on what is it? Nighthawk High Strangeness YouTube channel. He put out a number to report the sky farts. So I wonder what that number is and how that works. And I believe it was one of his last live streams. Tanya says, surprisingly, neither experience brought up fear. Oh, you're talking about an experience there. All right. And Juliana says, I have many, many theories of what happened with Patty one of these days. Yeah, you'll get yes, Juliana. Let's set that up. Why don't you let's see. Let's put out the email now. I don't know if you gotten the recent email. And I even got a phone number. I don't know. I've gotten some numbers, some calls from some numbers, but I don't know if it's maybe people calling that number or if it's just like scammers. But you could always, I believe there's a voicemail to leave a message. I got to set up the voicemail for that. I don't think I've done that, but one quick second. And this number is for anyone else also interested in maybe sharing some reports or sightings, videos, pictures, any of that experiences. We could set that up. And yeah, I'm too all over the place to have a set like schedule for this live streaming stuff. It's random still and spontaneous. But yeah, shoot me an email and we could get each other's contacts. And yeah, I'll be possibly up that way maybe soon. Maybe. And so, I will, whenever I do head up that way, I will be stopping by your place this time, Juliana. And even last time we weren't joking around. It's just, whatever. It just didn't work out that time. It should have went up twice. But yeah, we're going to make it happen. And, can't wait for that. And then, yeah, getting you on and chatting here will be awesome. So yeah, little heads up there. And then also what had brought me to what else we're gonna get into tonight was Bigfoot related also. And yeah, Juliana, the other day I was wearing this shirt from Humboldt County, a local store out of the town of Scotia and Scotland. Scotia in Spanish, Scotland. Maybe that area there looks like Scotland. I remember my Irish friend up that way, old hippie dude, real hippie dude, owned land up there. He said a lot of areas up there would remind him of Ireland. So yeah, God's country, he would tell me, right? So where's the chat? Scrolling down. Excuse me if I've missed anything. So we're gonna cruise right into where were we? Yeah, so Juliana had when she seen Scotia in the shirt, it's a Bigfoot shirt from a local store there. And she sent me a video of this lady that was doing a talk about Bigfoot. And she happened to be a local, homegrown from Humboldt County, from Scotia. And she talked about a couple of Bigfoot experiences she had, and talked about the county, which was awesome. Always awesome to hear from locals. And she talked about two sightings she had, all right? And one of them was in the Leggett area. So the other night we got into the sightings and reports I've gotten from others, and there's stuff online that you could find from the Leggett area. So start going in on Leggett. Heard that there was an accident out that way in Leggett today too. It's also posted on Redheaded Black Belt there. So Leggett was on the radar. And yeah, and then she had another sighting in this other area of Humboldt County, this town near town or in the town of Eddersburg. And I was like, all right. So I started going in on Leggett. We had already gone in on Leggett before, but went back in on it since that popped up. And there's more to go in on out of the Leggett area. For example, like watch, we could pull something up. And not far from there is where I had my first sighting going up the hill. We'll go up the hill in a minute. Let's see. It's gonna be that was it's gonna be another BFRO report. Let's see. We're gonna have to pop on the Jeopardy music here. Here we go. All right. So another BFRO report here. And I shared out of the Leggett area. I had this Rasta Brethren coming up from LA. And this guy, uh, not into the Bigfoot topic or anything, speaks with a heavy patois accent, Jamaican accent, Caribbean accent. And so nothing to do with Bigfoot. And he had a sighting right around this gift shop, the Legend of Bigfoot. We were bringing all that up. Had another report from Reggae on the River festival that happens in that area. So a lot of camping during that 3-day festival there. Party goers. And yeah, people thinking, yeah, people are partying, yeah, they're you could go far out with that one. Of course, they're going to see Bigfoot and see his thing. Yeah, they said it was a male. Got a report from a really reliable local source, and yeah, the report got to him that yeah, these women had seen they were at their campground, seen a Sasquatch, and it was a male. Totally, we're focused on the male part, and that's right around that area. We talked about other reports as I think of them. I'll mention them. But yeah, you got this one BFRO report, and this one is out of it's a Class B 67556, and this was submitted by witness Rick Bates on Saturday, January 23rd, 2021. So not too long ago. And it says possible night sighting by motorists on Highway 101, 6 miles south of Garberville. So even the gift shop that they'll say it's Garberville, but I think it's not in the town of Garberville. It's before Garberville if you're coming from south, and I think it's closer to Leggett. And we also mentioned about the two little girls that went missing for a couple days, survived on huckleberries, and were found. They were found near that gift shop, also in and around that area. Uh, Other reports, and we'll go back in on this. I'm sure we'll get more reports. And yeah, please send us in your or contact me with your Humboldt County or Emerald Triangle reports. Yeah, I want to start focusing more on those particular areas, but of course, surrounding areas we're super interested as well. And I really like that Jeremiah again over at Bigfoot Society. He's really focusing in on Northern Oregon. I have a feeling he might end up just moving out that way. But yeah, it's really cool how he's drilling away and just getting a lot of feedback from that area. Just doing a really good, get also reports from a bunch of other places. Today was what, Tennessee. And yeah, I'm also fascinated with Tennessee. Southbound 101, so Garberville, nearest town, California. Hey, Gville. Others would call it something else, but yeah, this one was a trip. It says I was driving home from Brookings, Oregon on 12321. I was southbound on Highway 101 south of Garberville, California, and south of the Benbow Inn. We've talked about the Benbow Inn. I don't know if I shared recent pictures from there. If not, I'll post one tonight. Yeah, the Queen sent me some pictures, and one of them was us at the Bembo Inn. And the Bembo Inn is a trip. I think there's a definitely it's a paranormal spot. It's haunted. Could be an old world building. Got to look at it again. And yeah, it's where you got a little bit of extra money every once in a while. You'd go and have a little fun at the Benbow Inn. They got the little the golf course there. They used to have events across the Benbow Inn also. Uh, Grandpa used to call it the Ben Bow. And yeah, the one time we got a good friend of ours that used to work there. Salute to him. Took us down into the cellar. Yeah, we've stayed there overnight at the Benbow and had weird stuff happen to us one night. We got locked out. Grandpa was in his room. Grandpa would do his thing, party it up. And the Queen and I had our own room separate, and then we were doing our thing, and we had gone over to what was it? We kind of went over to Grandpa's room and got locked out of our room. Something just shut the door, and that happened to us at the Eagle House Inn also. But yeah, some weird stuff. Bembo's burned several times. People say it's haunted. Have had weird experiences there. Let us know if you've had weird stuff happen at the Benbow. Uh, Trippy spot there, right off of Highway 101. Izzy Pop, welcome in. Cheers to you. Yeah, so let's continue on here. Garberville. So let's see. The road makes a few turns. Oh yeah. And you get the Eel River going along there. Several redwood groves. You have Richardson's Grove, which they've been, fighting to save. There's a whole thing, I guess, they want to save those redwoods there. Someone's been trying to not save them. So there's always been a fight for Richardson's Grove, which is a little, I think, slightly south of the gift store here. And let's continue on. Let's see, as I rounded a sweeping right hand turn, I saw a figure on the southbound shoulder of the highway. I was the only vehicle in the area about 8:15 p.m. My speed was about 40 to 45 miles an hour as I passed the figure. The figure was laying on the shoulder of the road on its right side. I estimated the height to be about 7 feet. I was looking at the creature back and noticed it had broad shoulders and was thick torso shape. While the shape similar to a human, it was not human. It was not a bear either. I could see muscular features on its glutes and a head on the shoulders that was somewhat tapered towards the top and being held off the ground. Its hair was a chocolate brown and very coarse. The hair was not fur like a bear at all. I turned around a distance past the spot and returned to where I seen it. No other vehicle had gone north or south from that time I saw the creature to the time I returned to its location. 2 minutes estimate. When I got to the spot where I had seen it, the creature, it was gone. Trippy. I was an avid hunter and fisherman. I spent a lot of time in the woods. I spent every summer camping in that area as well as a kid. I have never seen anything like what I saw just this evening. No other witnesses, no other stories. Time, we mentioned the time there. Let's see. Lighting was illuminated by headlights, weather, high clouds, and let's see, environment, of course, trees and brush. South Fork Eel River Canyon north of Richardson's Grove State Park. That's that park I was mentioning there earlier, south of the Bembo Inn. And so I would say, it's within that area of this gift shop. And yeah, trippy. It was laying on the side of the highway there, and I think it was facing away traffic. Did it say? Mm. And to show the gift shop, some may recognize it. I actually pulled up. I found a little clip of me passing by the gift shop. I'd pass it so much. It's crazy. And yeah, I would stop at Richardson's Grove, explored there several times, found little structures around there. Um, and one time I explained it in the little video clip. I'll pull that up in a sec. Let's see, where are you? We actually showed a video trailer. What's the dude's name? I forget his name. Bartelli or Bartels, something like on the road, or that's the gift shop there. A lot of wood carvings and yeah, they got hit one time, got robbed. It's terrible. Got the dudes on camera and everything, and still didn't, weren't able to find who did it. And I know they lost a lot of money, and I don't know what else they took, but not cool. And to pull that clip up, yeah, Juliana, the Eagle House. I don't know if did they finally sell that. A grandpa and the queen. We all knew. Was it Mr. Lee, the man who owned the Eagle House, and that was another. That's an old worlder, I think, right there, right? It's a Victorian building. And at the top, they had a really cool suite that you could look out into Humboldt Bay, and it was they had a red bathtub in there with like a goose handle of some sort. Yeah, trippy spot there. Had several experiences there that we could talk about, kind of like paranormal. Yeah, paranormal. Got to remember, there's one on Halloween night for sure. They used to have these Halloween parties there. And then what else? You had which was connected to Gallagher's, right? Gallagher's pub. And yeah, I've heard of Bull Creek, and yeah, of course, Rockefeller Forest. So when I lived in Honeydew, that I'd have to drive in through that way, unless I wanted to go the long route and go through the coast and then through Petrolia, you know. But yeah, no, that'd be the way up to Honeydew. You go through Bull Creek, Rockefeller Forest, and I remember seeing, who knows, maybe it was you, Juliana, but I would, see people take their horses on those trails there. And I found some tracks along the Eel River there. And we've showed that, documented, showed on video, and then little structures around that area. And recently, this time that I went up north, I stopped on the other side of that. Uh, there's the rest area on the other side there of the Rockefeller Forest. Um, and I stopped there and I went for a little walk because there's little areas you could walk around there. You're in the redwood groves there, and it's right where the bridge is, and they have the high water mark there. Also, when the '64 flood happened, and that '64 flood gets mentioned a lot because it shifted Bluff Creek. So a few years after that flood, which I heard wiped away towns and it was really bad. Uh, that's what shaped Bluff Creek. Also, there was a lot of stuff that had moved around in that area due to the '64 flood, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, trippy stuff. So yeah, they have these high water marks, this reflective, like orange and white reflective markers that show you the height of the water. And it's crazy because that bridge is so high up above the river there. And so I don't know if the river was all flooded up to where that marker, that's mind blowing. It must be like 50 feet from the river down. I mean, from the bridge down to the river at that point. So it's kind of mind blowing to think like, whoa, where the watermark was when all that happened. Yeah. So what were we looking at there? Oh yeah. So I was gonna pull up this little old clip from the that particular area, that gift shop area there, Legend of Bigfoot. Let's see, where are you? Here's a cool little gift shop down the hill from where I stay. T and I were just down the road and actually at a redwood grove here and found a couple of yeah, we had gone to Richardson's Grove to check some things out. And yeah, actually it's down the hill and down Highway 101 a bit, but it's still down the hill. It's not far. And actually a little further south of this interesting gift shop here and is the vortex. There's a vortex also like the Santa Cruz mystery spot. Everyone knows that. Everyone out here in Cali has a, no, not everyone, but a lot of people have that Santa Cruz mystery spot sticker on their bumper. I've never been, would love to check it out. And it's one of those vortexes and it's super cool. I stopped this actually this time when I had gone up there. I made a stop there. I was all out of I had to resort to this cheap camera that I got. Still haven't gone through that footage, but I stopped at the vortex, didn't go inside, but the snack shop was open and I had never really always wanted to stop there. never did it. And that's just not far south, a little further south of here. So a lot of weirdness along Highway 101 there. Um, yeah, what do you think about those mystery vortex spots? Is that an area that'll attract high strangeness? You know, they talk about the Montana vortex being one of those types of places and the high strangeness that's reported around there, everything from orbs to Sasquatch sightings and more. Hmm.
Small structures, very small. And what we did notice is a ranger was roaming around the park and picking up sticks and kind of cleaning stuff up. So we're thinking that the structures that are built are being taken down. Find many.
Yeah. Yes. Don't forget to stop at that gift shop if you're in the area. Get yourself a little souvenir, and maybe you might have an encounter. You never know. And so I started going down. That was going down the whole Leggett trip. Bigfoot reports there. Um, and all due to that lady's sighting. It just refreshed me about, oh yeah, the stuff that I've heard from that area. And once again, we'll zero in more on this area. There will be more stuff, I'm sure, that'll pop up, and I'm sure it'll spread out from there. And also, I'll also mention again, also, yes, also, yeah, not too far from there. So Garberville is like our main. That was our main town. If we were on the hill, and even being on the hill, we did have a country store pretty nearby, which was convenient and expensive. And then if we really, needed another store but didn't want to go down the hill, we could drive over to Alder Point, which was maybe about 10, 15 minutes, 20 at the most from our place. So it wasn't far, but we usually wouldn't go out that way because we had our store next to it. Sometimes I think it was Sundays they were closed. So the Alder Point store would be open. I think it was. And so yeah, and then we've hung out. What is it? The Confluence that's out that way. I've hung out there before. Uh, and ran into some interesting and some weird characters around there. And Alder Point is like the epic center, pretty much. Alder Point, Island Mountain of what they call uh mountain. And we've talked about that doc. There's been talks of a second documentary possibly coming out. I don't think it ever did because I haven't seen it, but I seen that there was like a trailer done for it. And I believe it was the same guys that had done part one, but that was on Netflix. And maybe some of you have seen it. Uh, a lot of locals weren't happy about it. And it was basically about Humboldt County, the missing and the homicide rate, and it was just the bad side of things that happen up that way. And yeah, happens up there, believe me, and at the same time I always say that there's the opposite, just like everywhere else, the polarity of things. There's a dark and light side of things. It's to me, it's paradise. For a lot of people, it's paradise. But yeah, things happen up there, and there is crime up there as well, especially with crime spreading everywhere, starting to creep into a, a lot of places where they didn't have it before. And but here, if you talk to certain people, they you know heard of it changing back in the day. And a lot of locals always talk about how it was back in the day. And it's like, damn, well, too bad. Can't be like that anymore. Um, but yeah, no, things even back in the day were happening, when I think about it and look into things. And And I guess it's like everything, the ebb and flow of just things happening in communities as communities change. You know, up there was a lot of logging going on, uh, different industries, and then the whole cannabis thing, and that brought in certain elements and characters and situations. And but yeah, I don't think you could blame it all on that either. A lot of people were pointing fingers at that, of course, because that also brought in other elements of the drug world and stuff like that. And I get it. And then, of course, anywhere where there's money, that there's things that happen that aren't good too. So, and and I kind of break that down for some that may not have an idea of what may be going on behind, or what was going on, but it's still going on behind the redwood curtain. And things have changed and things have legalized and all that, but there is still a black market out there, and all that has spread throughout California, and as other states are in the process of legalization, and in some places legalizing. I'm sure they're probably getting some of that activity as well. And I don't know, it's Southern California.